Welcome to the World Race Unleashed trading card game. This has been a bit of a work in progress from myself, Gambler Silver, and a few other members of the World Race Unleashed community. We wanted to capture all the greatest moments of the seasons and the off seasons, and just all the events and the game itself, and put them into interactive and fun card game to the best of our abilities. We're running this off of mostly just previous card game knowledge from other games we have played, and trying to take your own spin on it. And a lot of this is based on a starting point of the Acceler Racers card game. So you will see some similarities between this game and that game, but it's not an exact science. Like, it's not an exact rip-off sort of thing. Just a few things here and there that you'll notice. First up, we have this beautiful board designed by Skybox. Has the team logos of the first 6 teams of the World Race Unleashed. We may get other versions later with different logos on them. Who knows? We'll see. This might just be a permanent one. I like it. Now, let's go through the 4 card types. There are only 4 card types in the game. We want to minimize the complexity of a game such as Yu-Gi-Oh, where there are about 8. The first is our cars. So each car will have a screenshot from a World Race car or a Hot Wheels Unleashed car and its own effect and all this stuff. So unfortunately, we can't really do too much like this. We have to do a good old zoom in. That's as far as we can get. So we've got the name, we've got the team up in the top right. Teams work in a simple way. If you have 2 cars of the same team, you get a team bonus, which is during your upkeep you'll gain 1 extra boost, which is to your energy to pay for things. And this is stackable, so if you have 2 from 2 different teams, you'll be getting 2 extra boost. Next we have our effect of the car. This, every card should have its own unique effect and everything like that. And this one is a very long effect. Some of them have much shorter effects. Next we have the boost cost. So every car has its own boost cost that you have to pay. You'll generally start off with 3 per turn, but as I said, with the team bonus you can get more than that, and that allows you to play more cards more often. Next you have the laps. This is the laps that a car has to complete to finish a track. So if the car is on the field for 7 turns with a driver, it'll lose a lap every turn and eventually win the track. Some cars will have a lower lap cost because they're more expensive or because they have bad effects. Some of them will have a higher lap cost because they're the sort of cars you want to stick on the field for longer, or they're a bit harder to remove. And then there's also a track bonus. If a car has a track bonus, it costs 1 less if that track is in play. This does not come up often. It really is a bonus. Don't expect to see it all the time. So here, just showing another example of another card. This one is pretty much the same. It's got a much shorter effect. It's got a much lower lap count, but it's a very, very good car. So this one's an Acceleron team, and this one is a Bandits team. For the teams, you're pretty much just going to compare the logos and have to know the team relation between the logo and the team name. We will try and do up a sort of a template, like a list of what each icon represents, the name for those teams. We do have that for the first set, but not for everything. So we'll go through it as we need to and update that list where we can. Some teams don't have a car. You'll see this one here doesn't have a car, and these cars are just your generic car that you'll find in the game. With these cars that have a driver's name on them, you can only have 1 copy of these in your deck. They are a special car that is unique to that driver, so that's why there is only 1. Whereas this car, you can have 3 copies of this, and you'll see that its effect even replicates that by providing a boost for having other RDO2s in play. So you can sort of do an RDO2 theme just by playing 3 of this and any other RDO2s you get that belong to other drivers. So yeah, some cars don't have a team, but they do have that synergy and the ability to play multiple copies. Next we'll go on to drivers. Drivers are pretty similar to cars in most ways. And these are essential to the game. Obviously, your cars are needed to win tracks, but your drivers need to drive the cars. So your car could have a cost of 4, but that lap counter will not go down until there's a driver in it at the end of your turn. So when your turn ends, if every car that has a driver in it will lose a lap. And this is what we need our drivers for. Drivers, again, will have a team. Now, they don't have to go in a car of the same team. Some of them will get bonuses if they are, and have certain things affect cars of their own team, or some cars will have things affect drivers of the same team. But generally, you can just equip any driver to any car, in most cases. This driver here for Gambler Silver, yes, it does have a car that goes with it, but it doesn't actually have to be equipped to that one. It can go to any car. Next we have the Rookie. This is a generic driver, just like this generic cars. You can have 3 copies of this one, but that's due to its effect. Otherwise, with drivers, you are only allowed 1 copy of each. This one is sort of just to fill in gaps. You might not have enough drivers for the deck you want to play. This is just to give you a few extra drivers that are nice and cheap, easy to play, and very generic, very just free access, essentially. Now we have action cards. So we've seen our drivers, we've seen our cars, and now things happen during a race that are memorable, and we wanted to capture all our most memorable moments through these action cards as cards that sort of interact with the field a bit more than just watching cars lose laps. So this one here is a Blackout Racing card, and we do have some actions that have teams. Now there's no requirement to play these with that team, but they will generally only work with that team. So this removes damage from all Blackout Racing cars, or BHR cars, and so you're going to play that with the BHR effects or BHR cards, and some BHR cards will actually give you access to any BHR card, allowing you to search this. So you'll be able to add this to your hand from your deck and then use it to heal your cars. So we do have a few effects like that. To start with, they may not be too strong, just because there is a very limited amount of cards, but that will increase over time. So yeah, as I said, we get to relive our favorite memories from the game, and one of them is desync. That is one of the most memorable moments of the World Race and Hot Wheels Unleashed in itself. So this is a more generic card that any deck will be able to play, and if it's considered to be a really strong card, every deck's going to be playing it. So it is up to you what you do put into your deck and the ratios you want to put in. Some people could choose to not play any actions at all. Drivers and cars you will have to play. There's not really any way to get around that, but actions are very optional. Here, this is another memorable thing from the World Race. It's just that Norton had a habit of taking out his teammates quite often, so we have captured that in a card just because it is something that people really remember and enjoy. Now we have the tracks, the last of the 4 card types. These don't go in your deck. The tracks all go in a separate track deck. That's pretty much all there is to it. They have an effect on the field, and sometimes they'll have a team. When they have a team, that doesn't mean anything other than the fact that their effect only affects that team or will benefit that team. And other cards can interact with things with tracks based on their team, but usually it'll just be the track has an effect that affects your cars. When a driver wins a track by getting its lap count to 0, such as in this case, not Gambler Silver, but Chase Fox's Street Creeper, say it's equipped with Gambler Silver, then Chase Fox's Street Creeper, Gambler Silver, and the track that you're racing on will all go to your podium. Now, it doesn't matter what drivers and tracks are in your podium, but it does matter what cars are in there. When you have 4 cars in there, you win the game. Or is it 5? Check the rules on that one. We have changed it a few times in testing between 4 and 5. I think at the moment it is 5. So when your driver and your car get stuck in here with your car, yes, you're only getting a point for the car. This just makes these hard to access, and you can't get them out of your grave and stuff like that. They do just get kind of stuck there. And then, as I said, some tracks won't have a team, and they'll just have a very generic effect. And sometimes the track cares if it's the first track on the field or if it's the last track on the field. And that can make a huge difference to the play style. You've kind of got to adapt to each track. Sometimes you want to win it, sometimes you can't afford to lose it because, hey, 2 cards is a lot. Now, let's go through your turn. These cards are all now irrelevant. So when the game starts, the track deck will be shuffled. 1 track will be flipped up. Snake's Arrest. Both players gain an additional boost during their upkeep. Damn, that is a typo. That will be fixed before you get a copy of this game. Let's say we're playing Excel Tugas. There are 6 starter decks. These are starter decks. They are not high skilled decks. That are not designed for competing. They're designed for learning the game. So we'll give that a shuffle and we'll look at our hand of, I believe, 7? Yes, 7. So in this, if you don't like your hand, you can do a mulligan, which is where you'll shuffle your whole hand to the bottom of your deck and draw a new hand. Or not shuffle, just place. In this situation, I feel like I've drawn too many action cards for an early game. So we're going to place these on the bottom and draw a new 7. Cool, this time I've got a few more cars. Still only 1 driver though, but it's a good driver. Now, thanks to this track giving me an extra upkeep, instead of starting with 3, I'm going to be starting with 4 for my first turn. So that has already adapted what we can do. So instead of just being able to play 1 card and pass, we can play 2. So we're going to flip 2 of these. We're going to put down Twin Wheel. Its effect will trigger drawing 1, discarding 1. I don't see us using this right now because we don't have any Excel 2 cars or drivers in the junkyard, so we'll just get rid of that. And then we still got 2 more boosts, so we can put down another car. And it's as simple as that. And then that's the end of my turn. These guys can't lose laps because they are unfortunately without driver, but on my next turn I'll be able to play Edward, which, let's say my opponent does their thing, it's now my turn. We'll pay 3 for Edward. And Edward's effect is he damages the car he's equipped to, and then he'll add an Excelatugas card from my deck or junkyard to my hand. So that's a searching effect, and at this point we already have a second driver. We want to see if we can get something that only costs 1, because we have 1 energy left over. I don't think that's going to happen though. No, it does not appear to. Some cards don't have a picture yet. They will just have the name of the card on their title, just so they're easy to recognize. We are still going through and getting all the pictures that we need. Now, unfortunately, there isn't anything 1 cost that we can get, but Edward's Rip Rod is a really good card to have right now for next turn. So here we're getting the basics of the game. We're learning. Dio is free, so we'll play Dio for free, and then we'll pay 1 to put down Bone Shaker, just to have an extra car on the field. Now, anytime you do search, you do need to shuffle your deck after. Feel free to shuffle as many times as you like. Now these cards will be losing a lap, so they'll go to 3 and 4. And they've both taken a damage thanks to the effects of Ed and Dio. So Excelatugas sort of have an effect where they damage their cards to get their effects, which is where Edward's Rip Rod comes in real handy because it stops you damaging your cards and wrecking them. If a card takes 2 damage, it is immediately wrecked, sent to the junkyard. Same with the driver attached to it. The other decks we have here are the drones, the racing drones. These guys are all based on having high lap counts and losing them fast. So they have things to lose their lap counts faster in exchange for having such high lap counts. It's a bit of a give and take sort of thing. So they're kind of like endurance sort of cars. Sometimes they'll actually slow down opponents' cards just to give their cards a better chance. Blackout Racing is all about healing your cards and sometimes damaging your cards for bonuses with the ability to heal that. Neostorm is about getting extra energy. So you'll be getting extra boost every turn to be able to play more cards more often. You just have the issue of running out of resources. Opposing that is the Bandits. They draw cards a lot and sometimes discard cards as well, but generally they're drawing a lot just to keep your hand stocked up, give you a lot of options. but the downside is you don't have the boost to go with it. So you might want to combine these two decks to try and make a deck that gains boost and draws cards to play a lot of cards more often. And Nigai are just a really strong team. If you can get out multiple Nigai cards, they will gain bonuses for having more Nigai cards on the field. So feel free to use a starter deck, learn the game. You want a ratio of about 20, 20, and 10, because you do need 50 cards. The starters all have 40. That is because they are starter decks for learning. But your deck size should be 50 cards. And yeah, we have a tournament going, starting soon. Please come have a look. We're going to put up some games, some friendly matches between myself and other players, just to sort of help you go through the game and learn the game. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. Hopefully we get to see you for the tournament. After the first tournament, there will be a prize for the winner, possibly the top 3 with the numbers that we've got, just to have your own custom promotional cards added to the game. And then on top of that, we will have set 2 releasing pretty much immediately after the tournament. See you guys then. And yeah, definitely sign up. It's going to be fun. We have a lot to learn with this game.